Hey, hello everyone. So remember that in our hair prep static node, we paint the attribute density, which is cool because now we can go to our guides, and now as you can see, we have guides everywhere. Okay. We can go to the guide curation, and in the density parameter, we can put skin attributes. And now Houdini is taking the name automatically, but you can change the name, but remember that you have to change the name from your attribute wrangle and put the word you want. Okay? That's why I put density, because I already know that Houdini is using the density word. And here, as you can see, we now only have guides in our head or in the part that we paint. Okay, important stuff here. We have the reskin BDB, which is going to be the collider. So now I'm checking this, and this number, it's too low. So this is going to make our process very, very slow. So we can increase that number by increasing the BDB. Okay? I'm going to show you how to check this and how to visualize, because sometimes your BDB could be like broken if it's open. Okay. So more stuff here. We have put it the density. We can increase or decrease the amount of guides we want. Here we have the seed, like random seed, and the relax iteration is gonna make you the guides like more cows or more organized. Okay. So let's put it something, we don't care about this because we're gonna plant it by hand. And remember, you have the segments, that this is the amount of point per each primitive. So per each guide, if we decrease that, you can see that the number of points, it's slower. It's lower. This is cool to have like some segments, because when we are comping, it's different if we are comping something which only have 3 points, which is going to be like something like that. Or we have like 10 segments, which is going to be like something like this. Okay? Cool. And here we have the length. Okay? So we can increase the length of our hair. But we are not really worried about that. An important stuff we're going to do is that, let me uncheck the points, is that we are going to activate the draw wide curve. Now this is too much. But by decreasing that, our guides are going to be like thicker, and it's going to help us to work much better. So let me just increase a little bit the length. Something like this. More or less. Okay. Maybe less. Longer. Something like that. Cool. And we are done here. So let me show you how to check your BDB, if it's okay or not. By going inside, we're going to have this. The guides, the skin, and the skin BDB. So if we create null, and we visualize the skin BDB, we will be able to check our BDB skin. So as you can see, the process is too low. So that means that something is wrong with our BDB. So by canceling this and going outside, you have to cancel. Cool. So we can come here and increase the size. And you will see now that we have our BDB. This is enough? More or less. More or less, yes. So I always recommend you, by going to hair preparation, I always recommend to create a poly cap, which if your polygon is open, it's going to close it. Okay? And remember to take this node and copy here. Okay. Cool, so maybe we can increase just a little bit our size of the BDB. Something like that. Okay, the resolution is much better. Okay? Cool. So let's comb the guides. Here we have the guides, then we have the skin, which is gonna be the collider of John Wick. So we have the guides. Here we have the skin, and here we have the BDB. And it's gonna be the same all the time. Okay, remember to keep the hide other objects activated, because sometimes you could have the geometry outside and it's gonna be like super annoying. Okay, so let's comb the guides. If you go to guide and then you go to, I don't know, to set direction, automatically you will have the direction for your hairs. Okay, let me now activate the show all objects. Okay, so we set the direction to -1. That's why it's here. It's like that. But as I told you, we are not gonna use the guides we have now. Or maybe yes, because I'm thinking, and it's not a bad idea. So I'm gonna show you how to plan the guides. But first, what we are gonna do is to activate the curve advec. So click on that option, and basically here, what we have is a setup that is gonna give us the change to draw our hair by using curve. And they are gonna be curve that we are gonna draw. So let me show you. If we select the draw curve node and we visualize the guide advec and we activate the gizmo here, if we make the brush smaller, something like this, we can paint the guides, and Houdini is gonna draw these drawings like our hair. Okay, we can play as much as we want, something like that, and something like that. Remember that you have a mirror activated. So what this is doing, so here we have our guides draw. Let me show you. Well, you are drawing your guides here. Okay, you cannot see, but you are drawing your guides. As you can see here, it's like very thin. And you see the white ones? That's the guides that you have drawn. Okay. And then you have the mirror, which is like doing this into the opposite. Okay. And finally, you have the volume velocity from curve, which is taking the curve you have drawn and drawing the velocity. Remember that here, the only parameter you can touch is the smooth velocity, which is going to give you like a smooth result of your guides. Okay? But what I want to show you is that we can like plant the guides manually. So this is one setup we can do, or we can delete that. And here we can set the set guide length, for example. Okay. And what we're going to do is like by going to primitive selection, we're going to take our guides and we're going to delete all of them. Okay. So here what we are going to do is like a guide groom. And if we connect it like this, okay, we can just, if you want to delete the set length, it's going to be the same, okay? So in the guide groom, we can go into the tools and go into the plant guides. So now, if we make the brush smaller, like always, if we paint one guy, we're going to have the guide here. It's kind of cool. Okay? And we can add some guides. Maybe the default length is too much. Maybe this could be like 0, 0, 1. Okay. Okay, let me first reduce the length here outside. That was too much. Let me put 3. And now if we plant, we should have it the same. Well, don't worry, because we can here create a set by selecting this. If you go to set length, you will be able to make it longer or even smaller. Okay, we want something like this. But let's do it after planting the guides. Okay, so we're gonna plant one guy here, one guy here, here, here. Okay, let's plant some guides. Cool, cool. And some guides here. And some here. Don't be crazy planting guides, okay? And let me try to create a mirror and clone these into the other part. No, it's not working. It's working? It's working. Okay, so more or less here, we can achieve the same result and we haven't done a lot of process, okay? But let me do this after, because it's gonna be much better. So let's just comb the first guides by clicking here, so we can plant here, plant, and let's create another one, which is gonna be guide groom. And this is gonna be the screen brush. If we check this tool, it's gonna give us the change to comb our guides. But if you are looking this, something is wrong, because it's like they are not bending. So what we can do is to create a resample node. Because if we check our points, you will see that we only have 2 points. One here and the other one here. So our curve cannot bend. So now if we check this and we check maximum segment length, we can increase the amount of points. Don't be crazy, remember. And now in the guide room, if we connect it after, remember pressing Shift S, you can make the curve more curvy. And now if we comb our guides, you will see that we can bend more our guides. Okay. Let's try to mimic the hair of John Wick, more or less, okay? That's why I recommend you to have like the Wacom tablet or something. It's more helpful for grooming. Okay, something like that. If you want to select only and work only with one, you can go here, select the primitive you want to work, hit enter, and now you just comb comp and work only for this one, which is cool. Okay, so try to imagine that we are happy with that result. And remember, if you want to avoid the selection, come here and delete the primitive. Okay, yeah, maybe now we can work only for this. Hit enter, just copy it again. Cool. So try to imagine that we are happy with our result. So we want to do the mirror. I'm gonna make it in the guides stream. Here we're gonna move to the other part, which now it's not working. Now here, cool. Oops, let's put it something like that, more or less, okay? So try to imagine that we are happy with that. Okay? This looks like shit, right? But let me show you. If now we go into, if we follow this, the workflow, here we'll have the guide groom, and I think we are having problems with the mirror. It's not working at all. That's why maybe we should work in the 0 axis instead of not in the 0. But let me show you. We can create another plant guides here and plant it here. Let's delete that. Can reset strokes. Okay, more or less. Okay, let's move on. If we go to the format guides, you will see that they are in the same position. Okay? And if we press play, they are gonna follow our geometry. But now, if we create the guide sim, something like this, if we press play, our guides are going to be simulated. They are being simulated with the Vellum solver, which is kind of cool. Because if you know Vellum, and you know because we have done our cloth, it's going to be the same values and the same workflows. We will have the stretch, the stiffness, the bend. Okay? But now that we have our guide simulated, if we check our final hair, here we will get the hair we have done. And if we press play, you will see that it's simulated. Maybe we have to work better with the collider, but it's working. Okay? Cool. So in the next chapters, we're going to work in the final guides, and we're going to do the hair for our John Wick. Okay? So, see ya.